Same as
Live coverage of tonight's race presented by Asphalt Racing Network. Sponsored by Decals, Paint, and Photoshop for all your iRacing paint needs. That is your one-stop shop. And Young Hitter Collectibles on Whatnot for all of your die-cast needs. 124, 164, and 118s. We got them for you. Ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week here for the American Stock Car Racing League, as it is now officially playoff bound. The time has officially come where these drivers start the round of 12. As always, for Asphalt Racing Network, tonight in the booth, we have, of course, yours truly, Tyler Jones, Blake Sharrow, and Papa Mickey, the People's Champ, Mickey Stewart.
Hey guys, how's
Yo,
everything
yo.
going?
Let's
Appreciate
get it.
you having us.
Operation.
Let's go.
Now, of course,
Excited, boys.
looking here tonight, qualifying just starting now. Looking at the playoff grid. Daniel Holloway in first place, advanced past this round. He has a bye. Christian Rose is in second. Josh Ball in third by a very slim margin to second place. Fourth place, Russell Hancock. They are tied for third, respectively, right now. Matt Becky in the fifth spot with a four-way tie all the way down to eighth. Dalton Gibson, Chase Greer, and Ethan Horst just at the cut line. Just outside of the cut line is going to be Tyler Hurt in ninth, Pickle Simmer in 10th, Poston in 11th, Riddle in 12th, and Sam Taylor in 13th.
It's playoff racing. Anything can happen. And I just love playoffs. It don't matter the sport. Badminton, racing, hockey, it doesn't matter. I love playoff competition. The skill is ramped up. Pressure's on. It's playoff time.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's it always adds to it when you watch it when there is things on the line. So I'm excited to watch these guys racing the trucks this week at Daytona. It's going to be a very fun thing to watch.
Now, of course, looking at the bracket, this is showing you where everybody's sitting at comfortably right now. You see, you got the rounds to go, drivers to make it up, to survive in advance until we get down to the last two, where a winner will be decided. Pretty different.
So this is drivers that didn't make the chase here then?
Yes, sir. This would be drivers that are not inside of the chase.
Win this bracket, they can get back into the chase, or is this just a secondary thing here?
It's a separate thing.
Believe this is strictly just a little secondary thing here.
Great idea. I love that. It adds competition from top to bottom. I'm in.
Yeah, I got my money on Corey Rainey. That's in the sixth
Oh,
seed. Give
God.
me Corey.
Is that what we're doing? Real quick. You need
Just
to
go
kill
with
that.
Corey Rainey, man. Go with Corey. Let's put all the pressure on him.
Blake, it's
You already
gonna
said
kill you.
score. We'll go and kill
Brady in
that.
chat.
I told you, Corey. Put all the pressure on Corey, and he will deliver.
Now, of course, looking at this secondary bracket here, Adam Killaday, Guerrero, Rainey, Rodman, Hessen, Breland, all in the first week bye, waiting to see who's going to come up next to him to now have that battle, I'm assuming based off of finishing position. You know, this week we're watching Matthews and Johnson go head-to-head. McNeese and Wright, Davis and Corbett, James and Half, Stevens and Green. Then on the other side of the bracket, Wilson and Schramm, Pate and Laurent, Mandarud and Murill, Yates and Leash, and Alessi and Teal all go head-to-head to see who's going to move on to the second stage of that bracket to fight another driver here on the secondary side of the playoffs. Now, of course, you know, looking right now, drivers all qualifying. You know, we don't like to talk about qualifying until we hit to the grid. But if very familiar few names up within that top 5 right now, I'm not going to say who. And it's up for you to decide, of course, where it says starting position isn't where they're actually qualified at. So you still don't know until we hit the grid. Right now, it's going to be a difficult one. Of course, survive and advance. The round of 12 is starting here tonight with the green flag. Who will make a statement tonight? You know, looking, of course, the chase officially begins here, where it's going to be hectic on a week in and week out basis. One race can really change anything for you. The pressure is going to build up an amount on a weekly basis to these drivers. You know, it's not like you have 8 more races to make it. You only get 2 races per round. You have to be practically on your P's and Q's every week now. There's no more drop races. There's a lot you have to do. Of course, the biggest thing to watch right now is going to be who handles the pressure the best. It is not going to be speed. It's not going to be the points. It's going to be that pressure alone, because the playoff racing does change not only the outcome, but it changes the drivers as well. You'll have more aggression. You'll have mistakes that are literally 12 times magnified on a complete different level, which can also get into somebody's head and change the outcome of a race. More rivalries as well here are kind of going to start brewing than what we saw in the regular season. And of course, last but not least, somebody is about to become a American Stock Car Racing League legend for Season 1.
Definitely, and your title favorite's got to be Daniel Holloway. You know, it's pretty much Daniel Holloway versus everyone to start off the playoffs. Like you said, there's only 2 races per round, so I mean everyone's got to be consistently up front. You can't just be consistent; you got to be consistently up front. You know, Holloway, he's got 3 wins on the season. He's a regular season champion. You know, he gets to buy this first round. He's obviously been the most dominant driver. So the King has entered the arena. He dominated everywhere from top to bottom. Can he handle the playoff pressure?
Yeah, man. Holloway definitely had done so good this season. I'm very excited to watch him in these playoffs. And then back on what Tyler was saying about rivalries being created, man, I can really see him and Josh Ball go at it all playoff, the whole series. Because they've been probably, Josh Ball joined a little bit later. He shot up into the playoffs because he had such good finishes week in and week out, and he gave Holloway somebody to look out for. So, yeah, watching them two battle it out with the rest of the guys. At this point, anybody can win. We've seen Holloway have some miscues, not necessarily his fault. It's just, it's the super speedway racing, so anything can happen. You don't have a bunch of races to get prepared for. Like, this is just like in and out. Like you got two races, man. If you don't do good, you're out. So it's gonna be very exciting to watch these guys battle out this playoff series.
Now, of course, few drivers still finishing up their qualifying. Looking at the World Center of Racing grandstands here right now. It's going to be a beautiful night on the track. Let's go ahead and show you the weather here for these drivers today. It's going to be 73 degrees on the cooler side to be in Daytona, actually, I shall say. No wind. 66% humidity today. Shouldn't make that much difference on the track. From what we've seen, of course, we've seen races in the 80s to the 90s. That humidity burns tires a lot more. Of course, concrete, asphalt holds a little bit of moisture, but 73 degrees, 66% humidity should make some pretty good racing here today.
Here's the sky view. Love it.
Oh,
Always a
always,
good one.
man. Looking
That makes me
over
wanna go
a. What did you say? Makes you
swimming
want to
in
go
that
swimming?
Yeah, and that pond.
No, thank you. I've heard it's great for fishing. If I'm not mistaken, Bass Pro Shop released a hell of a lot of bass out there.
You and your
Awesome.
Bass Pro Shop.
Right now, drivers getting ready on the grid as the sun is starting to set here at Daytona Beach. Looking back onto the fan deck right now, a great scenery here tonight for the fans, of course, especially for the drivers. Just look at that past the flag man. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful view here tonight. Of course, we're going to let it cycle through this beautiful view while we show you your grid. On the top, the first pole claimed for the round of 12 or the American Stock Car Racing League playoff season 1 is going to go to Vicente Guerrero. Outside of him in second place is going to be Josh Ball. Christian Rhodes in third. Sam Taylor in fourth. Rounding out your top 5 is going to be Corey Rainey. In sixth, we're going to have Daniel Haff. Tyler Green in seventh. Daniel Holloway in eighth. Les Levy in ninth. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be Dalton Gibson.
11th is Dwayne Corbet. 12th, Dylan Picklesimmer. 13th, Tyler Hurt. 14th, Adam Kilday. 15th, Zach Stevens. 16th, Ethan Horst. 17th, Joshua Riddle. 18th, Chase Greer. 19th, Gary Breland. And your 20th position, Eric Rodeman.
Finishing out the lineup, we got Brandon Matthews at 21st, Russ Hancock in 22nd, Matt Binky in 23rd, Kevin Leash in 24th, Trevor Yates sitting at 25. 26 is Adam Schramm, 27 Alan Hess, 28 Stephen Alessi, 29 Todd Pauston, and to round out your top 30, Matthew Wilson.
30 cars on the fields here today. This is probably one of the biggest races this season. It is where it all goes on the line. What you have worked hard for the last 10 weeks now officially pays off, or it puts you in a must-win situation to advance. Round of 12 action, just a few pace laps away. Looking at these drivers' paint schemes here tonight, we've got a lot of good ones on the field. Some returning paint schemes as always.
One of my favorite parts about iRacing, you get to design your own cars, represent your own, your own companies, your friends. If you're a small business owner, put your logo on there. There's nothing cooler than seeing your logo out on the track.
Yeah, for sure. It just adds a whole, extra dynamic. Anytime you can have a type of simulator or game where there's more customization, and it's always gonna be pretty, especially when you got 30 trucks out here with their own personal paint scheme. It just, I don't know, it just brings a little bit extra to the races.
Now, we're a little late on it. But you know what's going to happen. You know it's about to be tolling. The bells. It is that time because the truck lights are off. They are in this time in the restart zone on the flag, man. Green flag out now. First restart for the round of 12. Now underway.
All right, here we go. Off to a solid start. Everyone's staying in their lane, 2x2s all the way through. Starting off patient, it seems. It's going to be a long race. It's only 50 laps, but that 50 laps takes a while. So it's still a decent amount of race. So no need to push or be too aggressive too early.
Yeah, that could, especially now that we're in the playoffs, that one aggressive move can, if you're under the cut line, that could definitely end your season early. So the best thing you can do is just try to do your best to be consistent and have consistent finishes for these next 2 weeks.
Blimp cam in the sky, 2x2 still all around. Gotta wonder if you're gonna see a third line try to form here. It's gonna be a pretty tight one on that outside. If they do try to do so, I don't think it'll really prevail right now. I mean, just looking, seems to really be a two-line run. We already got a driver falling off on the top side, going to the back. Looked to be about the 35 of Banky, if I'm not mistaken. Currently, Sam Taylor is your leader. 3 positions up from where he started. You know, Mickey, kind of touching base on what you were talking about in pre-race. You know, Daniel Holloway currently in third right now. The Candyman himself, it's practically been him versus everybody else. Seems like no one else has been able to keep up with the rhythm that Holloway produces. You know, 3 wins. Regular season champion will have track choice for the finale. Advanced into the round of 8. Of course, the most dominant regular season driver officially tonight, the King, has entered the Coliseum. He has dominated the regular season. Now comes the biggest question of all. Can he handle the playoff pressure? Because everything before tonight means nothing now. You know, we kind of saw him at the end of the regular season get put in somebody else's mistakes and kind of hosed him out of a win a few times, but now looking stronger than ever. You heard him during his interview. It's practically going to be a restart. He has nothing to lose, everything to gain. As of right now, even with him being advanced, it is all about him and that team. You don't hear that much from a driver, you know, even with them being comfortable in the round of 8. So you got to wonder, what is he going to produce here tonight, and how well will he be finishing?
For sure. I mean, so although you're, like you said, he's advanced in the round of 8, so you know he's locked in the next round. You still want to perform, run those laps, show the league that you're still here to win, and even win these races here. So, and then also just carry that momentum. If you get a good finish here, big one in the back here, but carry that momentum these first 2 races into the round of 8, and it really puts the pressure on the other drivers and takes the pressure off of him.
Now, of course, first caution out already. About 8 drivers involved in that. Call it the mini big one. Looking to see, believe it's starting on Josh Riddle. I could be wrong. I'm going to go ahead and look at the 12 here and go to the zoom cam, see if we can see what happened. Ooh. 87
Lord.
airborne count already. Oh, Lord, I wasn't prepared for this tonight.
Put it up, put it up, put it up.
I was not prepared.
You see the 35 is just, I'm not sure if anything happened with him, but he was away from that big front group, and he just keeps going straight and hits old buddy. He hits the 12 car. If you go back and watch the 35, yeah, that's expected. You know, there's jitters going on early playoff race, so hopefully, I'm sure this will clean up later on. And there's a couple flips already. There's a bunch of them. Oh, that was fun.
Insane view here in slow-mo. Practically was just lifted off the ground with no problem. Goes on the roof. Practically does some Ryan Priest flips. Thankfully, there's no grass anymore. Pretty heavy
Yeah,
hits.
it's hard to tell where that all started. Like, did things stack up there? It seemed like you had three different incidences kind of all happened at the same time. Obviously, the 87 getting the brunt of it there.
So I believe it did start with a little bit of a checkup up front. You can see they were 3 wide. That kind of split the packs. The 87 goes to split 3 wide as well. Looks like just got loose. Probably off of the car from behind. Of course, you had the initial wreck up front while having a wreck in the backfield as well.
Yes, kind of a double whammy there. Two incidences kind of at the same time there. So unfortunate, we do have some chase drivers involved in there. So that's definitely going to shake things up to start this race.
Yeah, that's one thing you don't want to see this early is having the truck damage already, especially just when you just want to be consistent because you know those the guys that are already in the top 10 or top 8 right now, they don't care. They ain't trying to win all day. They just want to be consistent, survive in advance. It's really the guys that are under the cut line from 9th to 13th that's got to really step up and get some positions. But yeah, in a situation like that, this early in the race, it's very unfortunate. As you said, there was multiple incidences at once. A lot of the times, if something happens in front of you, people not freak out, but you kind of check up early if you're behind it, or you'll try to turn that wheel to avoid it, and that causes something as well. So it's just very unfortunate for that group of guys.
Now, of course, Holloway in the lead at the point in time. Or, excuse me, Taylor was technically in the lead at the point in time. And uses the infield chicane. Someone else did too. A few drivers going to the infield chicane there. Cherry Yates also using it. They must know Peyton Bass personally. But now Daniel Holloway currently in the lead. Taylor is going to be starting back up in second place. Corey Rainey in third. Tyler Green in fourth. Hancock is going to be in fifth place right now, rounding out your top 5. Of course, already one airborne situation early on tonight. You hate to see it. You hate to see it as a broadcaster. You love to see it as a fan.
Just like seeing the counter.
Just like seeing the counter. It's crazy. Of course, drivers will be back green next time around. 25 laps ad-free. We always do that. Caution at lap 50. Give these drivers a little bit of a break. Separate the runs. It's about 15 laps per run here in the trucks. That being on gas. Excuse me there. Let me not halfway explain something and leave y'all hanging.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about the halfway stage point. So you got a total of 100 laps here tonight. So, but like I've said before, you can't win the race or finish the race if you don't get to that midway point at least. So, got to find a way to stay clean and keep damage off your truck here.
Beautiful view, man.
Beautiful sunset in eastern Florida.
Pace truck now entering 3 and 4. Will be off the field this time, and we will be back to green flag racing. Here we go. Start pulling the deck. Ready? Here we go. Pace truck off. Back green for the second time in the restart zone tonight. Holloway takes us back to green.
A little tidbit there for our football fans. Here we go.
The blue 40.
Hey, you better be proud I even made that joke. I'm a Steelers fan, so.
That's, now I know why you're showing an NASCAR.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You know, Blake?
What's up, buddy?
33 is kind of falling in your footsteps right now. 33, Josh
Yeah.
Ball sitting all the way back to 29th right now. When is he going to start making moves, or is he trying to play it safe right now in the back?
I think he's seen what just happened, and he's gonna work his way up through the field. He just got unlucky in that last incident, it seems like, and he's gonna get back up there. He usually does. He doesn't stay in the back for long. He knows how to make good moves that aren't too aggressive, that causes any trouble for him or other drivers. He's usually pretty clean, keeps a steady line, and if you keep a steady line at these super speedways, you'll get to the front in no time. And he's the number 33, so why not? You know?
There he goes again.
And hey, look at Corey Rainey, man. He's
Dude is going to kill you.
he's trying to get that top 5 spot, man. He's an 8th. He's gonna get up there, and he's gonna make a push. Man, they're lucky he ain't in the playoffs.
He's going to kill you. So a little bit of backstory for everybody that's wondering why Rainey's name is being thrown around so much. Rainey, a good buddy of mine, was practically telling us, keep him off camera. He seems that there's some bad mojo. He's got a little superstition about being on camera and calling his name out for a stage or the race win, because it seems like every time he says it, he normally is involved in situations. So Blake's now giving him hell in the booth for it. So if you're wondering why you keep hearing that Ford get called, Blake's trying to see if the superstition's true tonight.
There's only one way to find out. You know?
Dude, you're never going to hear the end of it if it's true.
Oh, man.
We got complete faith in the 4-car.
We do. We like Corey. We want to see Corey do good. We don't want him to do bad. We like Corey a lot. He's a good dude, and we always wish him well. We just had a little friendly banter up here in the booth.
Can you call it friendly when he can't rebuttal?
He was in chat earlier.
Yeah, but he's racing now. What do you want him to do?
He'll say something during cautions if he's watching.
He will. He will.
If you look close enough, you might see his middle finger in the windshield.
Yeah.
Drivers will think he's just waving himself to pitch. No, he's flipping off the broadcasters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, Sam Taylor currently in the lead right now. Looking to be doing pretty good. Of course, he's only led 9 laps of the race right now. Tyler Green in second place, Poston in third, Yates in fourth, and Alessi in fifth. Pretty big moves from some of these drivers in the top 5, starting with Poston. He's 26 positions up from his starting spot. Yates up 21, and Alessi up 23. Highest movers on the field right now are those 3 cars within the top 5.
You know, Anthony Poston in 31 had a huge late season push to put himself on the bubble, and then eventually found himself on the right side of the cut line. So had some momentum there at the end of the season. He's got to be able to carry it over. Right now, showing himself in the 3rd position, up 26 spots. That's good news for him.
A lot of single file racing going on in the front of the field here. Kind of what we expected right now. A little bit of contact. They are 3 wide. That is the 47 of Zach Stevens. 3 wide. They are shuffling all over the place. Driver going down pit road already. That being the 77 of Kevin Leash. I don't know if he meant to go down pit road, as he's now has a black flag.
And say I don't think that was on purpose. I think that was just part of the bumping of those 3s and 4 wides. So I believe the boost should be able to clear those for him. Unfortunate for him to be off the pace now, but yeah, you can see him just get loose, and the only way to save it was head down pit road and ended up making contact with the inside wall there. So hopefully not too much damage for him. He's got to get back on the track. Try not to go a lap down, because I do think the boys are going to single file out. They're single file for the first 7, 8, 9 positions. So I don't know how soon anything's going to happen where he can get that lap back.
Oh, well, you spoke it. 33 around to the front. 23 around as well. Few drivers wrecking. 85 in the infield grass. Caution number 2 out.
I take full responsibility for that one.
And that's why Randy tells you not to say his name.
Corey Randy was right in front of the 33 car.
Oh my
I'm
God,
glad.
dude!
I would have never heard the end of it.
I tried telling you, you don't want to listen. 87 of Strom, 23 of Breland, 33 of Ball. Who else? Kilday was also involved in that. Banky went off track for that situation too. I'm not sure if he was in the wreck or not. We'll actually have to go to the yellow flag drop. Just barely scathed out of it, locked up the tires. Thankfully, there's a lot of infield there for him. But yeah, man, you're the guy you're trying to curse tonight. You know, the 4 truck, Corey Rainey, literally just in front of the mischief.
Man, that was close.
You got lucky. Of course, now caution out again. Second caution here of the night, lap 17. You know, you got to wonder, cautions breed cautions, like we always say. Do you feel like now that first one came out, we're going to get a few back-to-back here within about 5 to 10 laps of each other?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah. Yep. Hold on.
Yep.
In good old expert fashion. So, like I was saying, cautions breed cautions, like we always say here. Do you feel like, you know, now that we've got these first 2 out, that we're possibly going to see a few more come out within 5 to 10 laps of each other?
Yeah, I think we'll have some more coming up shortly. I think there's just a lot of pressure on everybody. They're wanting to make the aggressive moves and try to get up in the front. They shouldn't do that this early in the race because there's still, you know, what do we got? 80 laps to go, just about, give or take. 83 laps. So I would just advise them to be more cautious, because you will not win the race on lap 18. We got to go a lot. We have a lot more racing to go. So I'd hope to not see any more cautions within the next 5 to 10 laps. But like I said, with it being the playoffs, man, you got a lot of jitters going. It's a lot of emotions flying high. So we're just gonna have to find out and see.
I think I'm going to agree with Blake on this one. Every time I say, hey, I think everything's starting to settle down, we're going to get some green flag laps, about 800 feet later, something happens. So I'm just going to say I agree with Blake.
Now, watching a lot of these battles within the top 10 coming out of pits, some close calls. Seemed like the top 5 kind of were able to get out not too close around anybody. Top 10 were a little bit closer. Doors to bumpers difference. You know, that does make a difference coming out of pits. Of course, it is about positioning early on here. You know, it used to be from 5 up, you're good. From 5 back, hold on. This is probably going to get bumpy, but now it seems like, you know, this isn't even just here in ASCRL. It's all racing, even including the NASCAR races. It's about 2 up. Some wrecks, you'll get that third and fourth driver involved, but 9 times out of 10, the top 2 normally are always the cleanest drivers.
You know, and well, I will say pushing in any car, on any game, or real life, or anything, it's not as easy to push the car in front of you or get pushed as it looks. You know, these guys make it look easy, but I can promise you, as being on the track in a race like this before, the pushing is not as easy as it looks. And when you're a middle car and you know, a 3, 4, 5 car push, I mean that car's just floating in the middle. So it is super tough to push on these tracks. So when you see things like that, or these drivers get swirly, I can promise you they're giving 110%. It's just difficult to keep all 4 tires in the same line.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. You know, especially when you're going around these turns at such a high speed, when you're trailing behind somebody in the draft, you got to lift. There's a chain reaction that gets involved sometimes in some wrecks on the turns. And when it comes to like leading, because they are mostly the cleanest drivers out there, week in and week out, you can kind of see they're always in some good lines. They don't really cause any of the incidents. It's just when you're in the front, you just got to make sure you keep a steady line, because it's up to you to make it easier for the guy behind you pushing you. If you're all over the place and changing lanes a lot, then you're kind of just asking to get dumped from behind. So it's really a team effort when it comes to these tracks, because you really got to rely on the guy behind you just as much as you got to rely on yourself to finish well.
You know, now, of course, still pretty early on. We didn't do it in pre-race, but if you are watching, we have 18 eyes on here right now. We appreciate all 18 of you tuning in live here for the American Stock Cars first round of 12 race at Daytona. I haven't seen much of it so far, but you need to go ahead and drop those drivers' picks in chat before we get to that first stage break. Let them know who you're rooting for. These drivers always watch it back, and they love to see the chat. Green flag back out now. Taylor with a pretty good lead there early on to get the run he wanted to keep himself at the front of the line. But of course, that distance isn't going to last too long, as it is a lottery track with a lot of draft power here. Choosing to go to the high side now. High side starting to make a line. 33, a ball looked to be getting a little wiggly there. Was able to maintain it, recover, but it's not looking too good, as he just lost at least a position or two.
Yeah, that high line definitely dominated off the restart, and it continues to. We got the bottom line up here around. Oh, here we go. Oh, we just started. Man, there's Rainey. It looks like it got a little bumpy. It was It was a dominated line on the high side, and then people got a little squirrely trying to get in the line, force themselves in there so they didn't get pushed to the back, and that's what caused this caution on lap 21.
That is not a good situation early on, and now you're going to hear it.
I think there was enough buffer between then and now. You can just see where when everyone starts getting stacked up, someone goes 3 wide and somebody's got to let out, and it stacks up, so then you get another 3 wide, and they're just having a hard time getting it settled back down after they go 3 wide or holding on to their cars. See the 21 a kill day going up into the wall hard. A lot of chase drivers involved in that one.
See the wreck spilling over from the start finish line wall cam there. Not a good situation for a lot of drivers. Like you said, a lot of those drivers in the chase right now. And, you know, the last thing you wanted to be dealing with is a caution. Looking at Corvette's view from the back half of it, really nowhere to go. Full track blocker, somehow manages to get around it. Still makes contact at the end.
Tearing up the grass. Somebody worked hard on that, dude.
They didn't mow it. It'll be alright. It's about 3 inches. Needs about a 2 1/4 cut. It'll be fine.
It is springtime. Cut it a little lower.
Now third caution out. Seems to be literally within about 4 laps.
A lot of nerves out there. You know, we all said it before the race. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Not only for the chase drivers, but the other guys in the last chance bracket or the redemption bracket. So you're starting to see, or you're already seeing those pressure moves take place, and unfortunately, it's costed a few of them.
Now, of course, you know, these drivers do have some fast repairs, but at the end of the day, they don't have unlimited. So, you know, it's a little difficult to have to maneuver when you use it. If you use it, do you sit in pits and go a few laps down and get your damage off, knowing that there's probably going to be a few more cautions to get it back? You know, do you just bite the bullet and get it done now? You know, a lot unfortunate carnage, you know, multiple drivers involved in at least 2 to 3 wrecks now. You know, it's really going to change up some of the pace and momentum of everything. Of course, Taylor in the lead at that time of the caution. 3 cautions so far for 9 laps, only 3 lead changes at lap 23.
There'll be more to come, I'm pretty sure. There's always a bunch of lead changes on this track. We noticed the high line doesn't always work. The low line doesn't always work. Sometimes you'll have a third line that'll overtake the others, you know, so there's going to be a lot of shifting at that leader spot.
Yeah, who can get linked up? Who can get those bumpers and push each other well? Not only pushing, but receiving the push. So, you know, this is where teammates really come into play on a league like this and a track like this. Because you know, you and your team, you practice all week pushing each other and trying to get a feel for each other on the track. So everyone's looking for their teammate, but you know, who can link up and stay linked up and keep that momentum and get themselves out front.
You know, right now, the name of the game is really patience. You don't want to be moving too early, too quick. You're seeing a lot of what we're seeing now due to it. You know, some of these drivers trying to get themselves in better situations early on, but unfortunately is going to hurt a few as well. You know, one driver right now sitting in 4th place, that is Christian Rhodes. He is also the hottest driver entering the playoffs. Multiple wins, massive late season surge. He advanced with momentum. Of course, nobody wants to race him right now as he has a lot to go for. But, you know, he's got hot at the perfect time, and now he's entering the playoff dangerously. Currently sitting in the top 5, but still in a very pivotal area in the playoffs. 3rd green flag back out now. Taylor once again with a good lead on the top side. Choosing to take that top line, 33, a ball jumping in there pretty quickly. Kind of the same situation we saw last restart.
Looks like Josh Ball's back up there near the front of the pack after that one caution that ended up clipping him. So I figured he'd be up there sooner rather than later. So I'm because he's one of those guys that always competes to the last lap. So yeah, no surprise that he's already put himself in the top 5 spot already after that last caution.
Speaking of teammates, Taylor Picklesimmer and Rhodes teammates, they're running the same team, got the same color numbers. If so, that goes right to the point of talking about teammates getting linked up. As we're 3 wide for 3rd place. Ball and Yates and Green looking to shake things up.
There is a lot of teammates for Ball. He's got Kilday, Schroem, Half, Corbett, and Guerrero.
Here's the counter. I just now noticed the airborne counter. Love it.
That was a airborne, multiple flips. That was a lot. Thought I was Brianna Lawrence for a second.
I unfortunately only have room for one, so airborne it is.
Sponsored by. And you can see so far that top line's definitely been the dominant line. Even, sometimes you'll see those single file lead cars drop down to that inside line and just ride that inside line to lead. But tonight they're staying up top, staying up even up into that 3rd groove there on that turn there. So right now, top line's definitely the line. We'll see if anyone can get that bottom line to run.
Bottom line, really not having much progression right now. I mean, what we've always seen from Daytona for American stock car, these drivers seem to favor that high line. I have never seen that much. Of course, normally the high line, when you're fighting with a low line side by side, is really preferred. But I've always known, hold that yellow line, hug that apron, don't hit the apron. Give maybe about a foot or two space and ride it till the wheels fall off. So it's interesting to see about a 7-car line on the top side right now, just consistently rolling.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just where Taylor and Picklesimmer prefer, or if they're just holding down that top line. If you're gonna pass us, you're gonna have to go down low and do it, and you're gonna have to make people go with you, because like you said, if you're side by side, your top line's usually prevails. So they're locking down that top side. If you're gonna pass us, you got to go down low to do it.
Yeah, they are definitely controlling that high line if that's the case. A lot of times at these tracks, we've seen the bottom line work, the top line work, the mid, just wherever. But yeah, right now it seems like they found the groove, and they found a good line that's been very beneficial for their team. And this looks like it'll be the line the rest of the night if these guys are up front.
Following mid-pack right now, Banky. They are 3 wide back there. It is the 77, the 35, and the 4. Excuse me, the 71, the 35, and the 4. About 3 wide, still racing right now. Seems like they're starting to hold them. Yeah, it's Voldemort. But, right now, they're starting to seem to be able to hold the lines down. There's still a lot of wiggling going on in certain areas around the track. But, I mean, all in all, I also think it's just the pushing. I feel like they're getting a little bit too close to bumpers, and it's kind of negatively affecting them as well. If you give a little bit more space, you just pick up off your throttle and kind of coast a little bit more into your corners. And your straights, of course, it'll be a little bit better. You'll leave some distance, so if you see a break, you can be able to, stab the throttle to 100, make that move in that open line and kind of get around them. But I do feel like that's probably where our last 3 cautions have came from, is just trailing the bumper too much.
Yeah, they seem to kind of have it figured out right now. They're still running 3 wide back there for 10th, 11th place on back. So, but 35 and the 77 have dropped down to the bottom. Seems to be making up a little bit of ground on that top line. We might just see that bottom line come into play here soon.
Yeah, that 3 wide's getting a little crazy behind them. They're running a good job on it right now. As somebody goes off under the apron,
Oh.
it looks like it's a single car. Yeah, that's what splits it up right there. You have one person kind of get wild and it ends. Looks like they're going back to 2 wide behind the front pack. Yeah, they were doing a couple laps, about 2 rows of 3 wide, and it kind of ended on just you know just then. But yeah, guys are wobbly right now. It's guys are trying to get in these lines. They're moving. Um, Man, this I hope a caution doesn't come out, but you guys got to tighten up that drive, and there's gonna be another coming out in the next couple laps.
The 35 giving 77 a push there, and the 77 just got a little loose. Heck of a save, and you've seen some of the domino effect. Everyone able to keep it on track, or keep her straight at least 77. Check on track. Got to get back up into the draft if you can. You see the leaders now running that bottom line, taking up both lines now. Whatever one's faster is the one they're going to lead. Kind of got it settled back in here now, 2 by 2. Third, fourth, fifth on back. Taylor still your leader with Pickle Simmer content pushing his bumper. And a 33, a ball getting involved in that bottom line as well.
Yeah, it looks like they're just controlling the line up front. We've seen them go high a lot, and now they're kind of snugging with the apron now. They're pretty much just controlling it. So what we've seen these past green laps with them on that high side, that's really just what their preferred line was. I don't think it had as much to do with the fastest line. It's just something they preferred, because it might be easier to follow your guy on those higher lines instead of the bottom ones. But yeah, you can see now the high line's catching up to them. Like to see how this shapes out.
See him fly by your start-finish line. The outside lines pulls up even with that second place car. 71 gets a little loose, slides up the track, gonna lose momentum there. Bottom line's definitely a little more organized. Bottom line.
All right.
It's actually pretty astonishing right now to see two drivers on the bottom side kind of gap the field there for a little bit. Didn't last long, but of course it did last for a while. The entire team coming in. That is Ball, Guerrero, Half, Strom, Hess. Almost the entire team coming into pits that time. Seemed like they were going pretty fast. No blacks given out. That was actually pretty crazy because they looked to be going down full throttle.
Taylor and Pickle Simmer hit loose. You can see how big of a difference when their bumpers are locked and not locked. Now dropping back down to 6th and 7th position.
Yeah, currently that's going to end up giving Yates the lead. 24 position difference. A lot of drivers coming in now. Yates, Taylor, Banky, and Breland, as well as Pickle Simmer, all into pits. We've seen this strategy come out early on now. Yeah, I believe if they're on the same strategies they were last week, the team of Guerrero, known to us that can't roll our R's as No Pasta Racing, will possibly win the stage here with 14 to go.
Well, you said earlier, around 15 laps for fuel on these trucks, so this should get them to the end, and everyone on the track still has a pit left. So, like you said, let's see how this strategy pays off today. It's paid off for them in the past.
Now just Corey Rainey. And I believe Tyler Green and Christian Rhodes coming into pits now, just a 3-car pack. It's going to put Poston and Candy Shack now to the front. The few other drivers as well, Horst in the mix.
Everyone of Poston gets shuffled to the outside, puts the 17 of Gibson in the lead. Poston able to find space in the 4th position. Now they're just riding single file. Gotta try and get around them, put these guys a lap down and get as much time gained as they can as they're up the road.
Now, of course, we are getting down to the nitty-gritty for stage numero uno. 13 laps left to go. Tyler currently in the lead.
Right there, you can see the difference of being in the draft and not in the draft. The Gibson, 17 of Gibson gets shuffled to the outside. Goes from 1st to 8th in less than half a lap. Our next group of pitters, the 343 Hancock, Taylor Hurt, Horst, Gibson, Levy, Rodemith, Poston, all in the pits this time by. Fuel only on these green flag stops. Tires not an issue with 12 to go. With that splash and go, get back out on the track, try to get your position back, get back in the draft, and hopefully when everything cycles out, you're where you want to be.
Yeah, man. Getting that draft after pitting's one of the make or breaks for drivers. You know, that's why it's very important to make sure you get your hit timing down well, because if you don't, and you get left behind, they're going to come up on you really quick if you're not in that draft.
And you got to find your way into the draft without, causing any issues. You can't jump up too early in front of everybody and cause a stack up. But you can't wait too long because they're just going to pass by you. So it's not just get back in line and go. We're 3 wide wreck on the track.
Wow.
That was a crazy strategy from Riddle there, being the last one to go in and come out, and it almost benefited him into his favor. Trevor Yates involved as one of the drivers in that wreck. Look, there were like 2 incidents, actually.
We need to check the 62, see if all 4 come off the ground.
Uh-oh. Possible airborne.
We need a button. We need a sounder. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Airborne alert.
Yates actually made it through that wreck cleanly and happened just behind him. Let's check it out. course, as I forgot, all of our replays are presented by Lost Souls RP. GTA 5 semi-serious roleplay server. If you are interested in joining us in the fun, of course, you could join me and Blake in the city. Exclamation point Ellis in chat. We'll give you a link to the Discord. You can get set up in there and join us as soon as possible. I have got to watch this again. And we've got to zoom it on in. Because I believe there's another airborne count.
Looks like the 97, he was close, but you'll see right here. I'm sorry, the 62. Okay, I guess there was 2 incidences. Yeah, because there was another one, the 97, and he was pretty close, but he kept a tire on the ground.
Yeah, I think the 62 kept a tire down to. No, I don't think we had one that time by.
Yeah, not an airborne that time. That sucks.
But more on that Lost Souls RP. So what is that? Like, you get on GTA, for those of us that don't know, GTA 5 is such an online server you can join. What do you do on said server?
Man, anything. Trucking, mechanic, cop, EMS. Just be a regular civilian. You could do some crazy illegal activities. You could do basic activities, own stores, shops, custom houses. Endless opportunities. Very small staff that is willing to listen and operate for you, for the people, by the people. It's one of the best smaller side communities I have ever ran across.
Yeah, and you could be a gambling addict on there like myself and stay in the casino.
Dude, I don't even want to hear it. You're up like $40,000 right now.
Like 50.
Oh, he must not have been betting on the Knicks then.
Hey, the Knicks just swept some boys, man.
Yeah, all you need to join. No, I'm sorry, make you go. No, I was going to say, all you need to join is a copy of Grand Theft Auto Legacy Edition through Steam or the Rockstar Game Launcher and download 5M.
Yeah, it's crazy how far they've come with that stuff. Not to give away my age, but I remember playing the first couple just, in the living room and not on the internet. And to do what they do now, man, is crazy with some of these games. It sounds like fun. I might have to look into that.
I don't think it's the old GTA titles that gave your age away. It might have been the fact that you have a grandchild, Mickey.
Yeah, I would say so.
That might be part of it.
I was playing GTA 3 back in the day, so I mean, I'm only 28. It could have made you sound young, but you had to say it that way.
Yeah, we're in our 20s, Mickey.
Blake, you're hitting the line too. Stop it.
I'm 20. I'm in my mid-20s.
You gotta remember. I was born in the late 1900s, Bob.
Yeah, I'm just playing. I'm actually 30 years old. I'll be 31 in July.
Exactly.
I just like to pretend I'm still in my 20s.
The youngest pup in the group here.
Yep.
Not by much. I feel like it. I don't feel like it, so. But after that wreck, I bet you some of those drivers don't feel like it either. So Joshua Riddle is actually going to get the lead. At the time of the caution, I believe he was the leader, so he's going to be scored with that lead. Lap 42 out of 50. He's going to be able to possibly get the win here. Of course, Russ Hancock on the outside of him right now, starting, kind of sad situation. Ethan Horst right now, 9th place, still has a lot of room to maneuver. He had elite consistency all season long. It's kind of the most disrespected contender. Really hasn't been talked about amongst the drivers as someone that's, at the top caliber, but I mean, he's top seed in caliber points, still searching for that signature moment. As of right now, it's really trying to see if his consistency can finally become greatness for him. Survived regular season, now into the playoff. His safe points racing is over. And he's still searching for that breakout spot. So, it's a lot of drivers to watch currently in the top 10 right now. We're going to see how this restart's going to treat him fairly here for the rest of stage 1, as we are now back green.
I took Ethan Horst in chat for today's race, so hopefully that signature moment tonight for him, and we can both go to bed happy.
Now you're seeing Riddle and Poston go side by side here. Faster run for Poston as he has the draft on the outside. Not going to go too good for the 12. Rainey is behind him. They're not making leeway. They're just falling back slowly but surely. Lines are disconnected here. You're also going to have Guerrero shoot low. 3 wide gap. And another caution out in the back.
Might have an opportunity for a green-white checker to finish the stint. We'll have to see what happens after they get the field sorted out here. Could be an interesting finish to the first stint.
Of course, another wreck presented by Lost Souls RP. And there it is right there. Look to start from the 4. '71 3 wide there with the 88. 4 just came up. Actually, no, 71 came down onto the 88. 37 almost went airborne again.
Almost.
And that's exactly where we picked him up.
And hand grenades.
And pipe bombs.
And there again, you see just how dangerous and risky that 3 wide is. You got to make a decision whether to run at that 3 wide or back out of it and get into position. But you can just see how difficult being in the middle of that 3 wide really is.
Tough situations all around here tonight, man. These guys aren't catching breaks.
They definitely aren't. That's a part of it. It's playoff racing, baby. You gotta you gotta get in where you fit in and just do your best to stay out of chaos.
Like you said, green, white checkered here for stage 1. Put in tough situations early on. Now it's about preserving that truck for the rest of the night. And that's going to be a little bit difficult to do. I mean, you saw the 88 of Pickle Simmer in that. That is who we call the Chaos Driver. He has explosive speed, big stage point numbers, wild swings all season. He's been in the front. He's also had a lot of wrecks as well. He has championship talent, but as well as championship risk. He can win the whole thing, or no pun intended with that caution, crash out early. There is no middle ground for him right now.
Yeah, he definitely sends it every week. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. Although I will say it put him into the chase, so far that risk has been worth the reward.
Yeah, for sure. If it's landed him in the playoff spot, man, you can't knock it. So, he's where's he at? He's just outside the under the cut line. So he's gonna have to make some of those moves, and sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. but you're gonna have to be aggressive at some points if you want to, you know, beat out the other guys that are also competing with you for that top 8. So we're gonna, he might be less risky, he might not. We're gonna find out for sure.
Be like this.
Yep.
You know, Hessenbecky catching a lot of damage there too. It's getting a little tough here for some drivers. I mean, Banky, another one, you know, he's lost a win earlier in the year, battled back very efficiently, you know, quietly stayed inside of the fight, he had a dog in the fight, but wasn't biting off hard enough. You know, really deemed as the hardest driver to kill off. You know, every time it looked that his season was over, you know, he has answered that call and has pushed himself in a better situation. So now, you know, having to look to the next round for Banky, I mean, it is possible, but now also being involved in that situation, it's going to seem to be difficult now. He's sitting in 30th. He is a lap down. You know, still has a lot of time to be able to regain a lap, but you have at least 4 more drivers in front of him, I do believe, that are a lap down as well. I could be wrong. Telemetry could be wrong. It is Schroem now officially popping up blue for me. So Schroem and him will be fighting to get that lapped lucky dog position back. Now, of course, truck off again. Back in the restart zone on the 31 with a good jump on the high side. 3 laps to go before the first break.
All right, see if they make it interesting for us.
Sure they will.
American stock
They
car.
usually do. They usually do. They always, whether it's a bunch of cautions or, you know, a bunch of green flag racing, they always do a good job and keep it very entertaining. Just like our host Tyler, he makes it a lot more fun to watch with him as well. So yeah, it's always fun to get in here on Monday nights, and all that is just amplified when the playoffs start, and it's gonna be a fun stretch, fellas.
Almost had it again. Nida Same Taylor almost just spun with Tyler Green. Now they're going 3 wide. Still 3 wide for 4th.
Your front 9 cars there broke out in their own group. Hard battles, heavy pushes. Guerrero there in 3rd place, giving Poston a big push heading down the backstretch.
'31 and the 9 are locked on bumpers. Not a good thing going in the corner, especially with that wiggling. That's how you wreck. Somehow still not making contact. Really close to go. 2 laps to go. 1 now this time past the line. Will Sam Taylor be able to hold it out to get the stage?
Do we know if there's stage points in the playoffs?
I believe they do get points for the stints. Stages, whatever you like to call it.
Well, perfect. That adds a little more attention here. If you look for the 31 to make a move here in 3 and 4. Austin and Guerrero right behind him. 31.
There it goes.
Being in that chase. Oh, the 14 makes it first. Pins the 31.
Oh, 31 about to spin the 9, getting really close. 14, it's a lot of wiggling all across the track.
Man.
Wreck out in the
There it
backfield
goes.
as well.
I'd say they made it interesting.
Man, Do we have a count on the quick repairs?
I believe it's only 2.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
You're gonna start to see drivers start to run out of them here pretty soon, probably.
Yeah, I also like I believe this is the biggest field, and since I've started getting in the booth with you guys on Monday nights, I'm pretty sure that it was mid 20s. But I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. This might be the biggest field that I've been a part of so far, and it's sure as hell looking like it with all these cautions.
A lot of drivers involved. Hancock, Corbett, Tyler Hurt, I believe, getting some damage off of that as well. I mean, Rodman, a lot of names within the chase. Not really catching breaks here tonight. Of course, drivers going down into pits now. Stage 1 officially over. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with more American Stock Car Racing action in just a few. Don't go anywhere.
Taste your banana pudding, you taste my banana pudding.
It's on. It's on.
I was going to say, will you marry me?
Is my makeup messy? Yes, it's messy.
Consumer Cellular can help people save on their cell phone bills. That's why I cut my car in half. This year, let's cut even more things to show people how much they can save. Let's cut the face off of our helmets. Let's cut the top off of our steering wheel. Let's even cut our hats.
Isn't that just a visor?
Shut up, Chris. Great. Can't wait to see what y'all come up with.
Get your second month free with Consumer Cellular.
We are back now with more racing action. Stage 2 about to start. Just a few laps while we jam out the crazy train, because that's exactly what we've seen happen so far. There's been hell on wheels for some of these drivers. A lot of other drivers have kept their noses clean up to this point in time, but not many in total have been able to even try to walk away out clean.
You're going to get bumped, you're going to get scratched, you're going to get dented. The question is, do you have what it takes to battle through those bumps and bruises to find yourself at the front at the end?
Yeah, it's tough. Like you said, there's a bunch of bumps and bruises, and only 2 quick repairs. So hopefully we'll see at least half of the field finished tonight.
Now, of course, pace lights are off, signifying we are going back green this time by. This will be the start of the last 50 laps before we decide who gets to take the first win within the round of 12. Poston in the lead right now. Taylor going to be starting on the inside. Tyler Green and Levi Levy. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm gonna stay with Levi. In the line 2, Holloway in 5th. Stevens just outside in 6th. We get ready here. Pace truck will be going off this time. We will be back green in the restart zone.
Let's get it.
Green flag back out now.
We're halfway through here, and we still got 30 cars on the track, but it's still going to be a lot of movement on the track here. So settle in, boys. We got some time left.
Drivers just need to worry about their consistency at this point in time. You don't want to make too many adjustments, too many maneuvers too early on. We've seen a lot of it so far, but starting another stage, you don't want to have accidents early on. I mean, the first 3 accidents came out within 5 laps of each other in total, back to back to back. Now drivers trying to do something different this time and, keep it green for as long as possible. They are burning and turning, though, in these trucks, making some crazy moves already, trying to find a good position to start making a run. Taylor still in the lead, Poston in 2nd, Tyler Green still in 3rd. All on the top line right now as they are leading this race.
Now's the time to make friends. You might need that. You might need, even though they're not a teammate, be nice to them now, because you might need them here coming towards the end.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like I said earlier in the race, you got to rely on the guy behind you, just like you got to rely on yourself to win races. You can't win it alone on these tracks at all. This isn't one of those you can just, create separation on good lines and just, eat away at the track and bring one home by yourself. You really got to rely on not just your teammates, but just other guys that are right behind you this whole race. Because, if you ain't got if you got a lot of people that don't like you, it'd be tough for you to win. So that's why it's always good, like you said, to keep some friends. Don't be too malicious and just so you got guys to push you to the end.
Drivers right now seem to have kind of understood the assignment officially and don't seem to be running each other as hard as they were in stage 1. That also could be a fast repair situation. Some of these drivers might have realized there are either one left or they are tapped out in total.
Yeah, after you use the first one, it definitely changes the way you drive, and definitely changes your strategy coming into the second half of the race. So sometimes that means backing off just a little bit and making sure that you can make it to the end of this race, or at least make it to the last lap, so you have an opportunity to make a move.
Yeah, that's a must, man. When you're in that under that cut line or in the top 8, you really got to make sure you're smart with your truck coming down to the wire, because if you already ran out of your quick repair, both of them, if there's one more wreck, you could be done for, and that could just set you back enough to where your next race might not matter too much. It doesn't mean you're going to get a win or something extravagant to even get yourself in position to get in that top 8. So yeah, man, every incident matters at this point going forward. If you're out of quick repairs, if you still have your quick repairs, you still don't want to drive crazy. You want to keep that in your back pocket just in case. I always prefer, not to use them rather than having to use them. So yeah, if these guys are, I'm sure there's going to be some trucks out here right now that they're out of those repairs. So at this point forward, you got to be aware of your surroundings. Just don't try to push it too hard and just let the race come to you, man. Don't try to do too much.
Now, Poston right now sitting in 4th place, still pretty comfortable. Pressure has been mounting on him for a few weeks, but now really at an all-time high. He had a huge late season rise, now expected to contend. Of course, he went from a bubble driver to now having championship pressure on him on a weekly basis. That regular season momentum means nothing if he exits early in the playoffs now. Sitting comfortably right now in 3rd, moving back between 3rd and 4th as they're side by side up in the front, but really doing as good of a job as possible right now to try to give him a bit of a boost even on finishing position.
Yeah, he's in a good position right now, just in the top 5. So he's done well all season. He's put himself in a good situation to compete in these playoffs, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna watch him do that this whole stretch. He's a really good driver. It's no surprise that he's up there competing in the second stage. And yeah, man, I think he's really gonna show a lot of people how good of a driver he is and compete with these top guys like Ball and Holloway. So yeah, I'm excited to watch this guy the rest of this playoff series.
Now, of course, Daniel Holloway. Oh, go ahead, Mickey.
I say that 62 is just dominant, or not dominant, but fast in the draft. He's able to just pull up on the back of the 24 and able to push him. Notice that last couple laps.
And he's holding pretty strong right now. You got to wonder if he has what it takes to hold on for the rest of the race. I mean, give or take, we still are going to have cautions. It's not just going to stop here now that we're at the last stint. So, he's in a good position right now. Normally cautions have been happening behind, so the 62 might be able to keep himself within that top 5. But I don't know how long that's going to happen because he has the Candyman right behind him. That is the 21 of Daniel Holloway. Regular season champ now coming back with a vengeance to right some of the wrongs that he's been put through this season. Of course, late season for him kind of resulted in a lot more wrecks than what he most likely would have wanted. few wins possibly could have been taken away due to him being ranked. Of course, we'll never know now. But, early on, playoff run, trying to get a win. He's already advanced. But you still have to fight.
Like we said earlier, although he's locked in the round of 8, he still wants to win this race just as much as anybody. So expect him to try to stay up front and make a move late. Carry that momentum into the next round.
Yeah, momentum's a big thing when you're getting down to the nitty gritty of the last, handful of races, especially when you're trying to compete for a championship. Momentum's key. Whether this race matters to him or not, it does at the end of the day. Like I said, that momentum, man, you get a win here, good finish. They kind of, everybody plays a little better when they're spirit truck. They drive better. It don't matter what you're doing. If you got high hopes for yourself, you're feeling good, you looking good. Like you can always do well. And yeah, I see him having a good finish, barring something bad happen like the last races. Yeah, I see him carrying that momentum into the round of 8 when the playoffs start for him. So.
And looking at the top 10 here and checking on some of our redemption bracket head-to-head matchups. In the top 10 right now, you have the 47 of Stevens and the 24 Green, their head-to-head matchup. And right now, Green running second, Stevens in 6th. So Green definitely wanting to keep it up there with the 47 being in the top 10 with him. Try to get a bit of a lead on that head-to-head battle here. Is those head-to-heads every week or are those every 2 weeks as well? I think it's got to be every week, doesn't it?
That's a good question.
That would have been a great answer if my mic wasn't muted. To be honest, I would assume that they say about assuming though, I would assume that would be an every 2 week situation based off of who comes out stronger, due to the simple fact that it's about a 4-week bracket is what it looks like.
Well, perfect. So yeah, I mean, Green definitely wanting to, with Stevens in the top 10 with him, or vice versa, want a good finish here. Carry that in the next week. That way they can move on in the redemption bracket.
I mean, of course, driver's doing pretty good here right now. We were on lap 68. Good lord. Because I almost said 67. I was like, we're on lap 68, so that's a lie anyway. 33 laps left to go here. Sam Taylor just dominating this race right now. I mean, looking at him for how many laps he's even have led. 47 laps of the race. And him going through our top 5. Green has not yet led a lap. Neither has Levi.
They're competing though. Just like Mickey was saying, that matchup with Stevens and Green, they're both fighting right now, and whoever wins out that one, there's a man waiting for him, and he's in that number 4 truck, Corey Rainey. So the winner of this little battle between Stevens and Green, man, they're gonna have their hands full with Corey Rainey in that 4 truck.
Seen it. Green flags after the halfway break. Green flag stops once again.
Now you gotta wonder, we didn't see it last time. Kind of worked out negatively in their favor. The first team going down to pits was not the team who won the stage.
Yeah, I'm a little curious with that odds team of Picklesimmer and them guys. Not quite on the same page, pitting at the same time. When that team was together, they were pretty dominant up front before they got shaken apart. So, a little curious to maybe talk to one of them at the end of the race, depending on how this finishes. See what their strategy was and why they didn't pit all at the same time. Just like there, Rhodes just now getting off pit road, pitted a lap late, or a lap after his team. He needs to get up in there and get up on the track and find someone to move with, and try and get back up front once some of these other people pit yet. Three wide. Name we do not speak of. Kind of get left out in the middle there. Was able to drop down in the fourth spot of that bottom line. Marco.
Polo.
Everyone's
Doing
hit
3
yet?
wide.
No, not everyone's hit yet. Well, they've had to. Get bobbled up, shaken up a little bit here. Back to 2x2. 62 Levy now up front. Been pushing all day. Finally leading his first laps of the day here.
Corey Rainey holding strong on that bottom line right now, trying to push and get some laps led of his own. And there he goes. He's just pushing the first, going into the turn. Let's see if it shakes out and he's able to get a lap.
33 a ball with a big move down to the inside. Squeezed her in there in front of the 14 of Guerrero. So far it's paid off for him. Corey Rainey getting left to dry once again on the bottom line. See if he can't get linked up with this next group of cars coming. They're just catching him too quick.
Yeah, they just passed that Picklesimmer passing him down there on the bottom.
Yeah, it's just just so much momentum there that they couldn't pick up the 4 without causing an incident. So the right move there. Daniel Holloway picks up the 4, gets his momentum back up before he's able to get back in line, but not until he fell outside the top 10. Just like that, your race can change. Looky there. New leader.
Yep.
For a second.
Josh Ball on that high side with Kilday pushing him. Haven't said his name much outside of the start of the race. You know, he had that early caution where he got bumped, and this is the first time he's been in the competing for actual lead this race since the beginning. There's a caution.
Whoa! 14 up and over, back on all fours. Need a wumbo sound from Brianna here, because we're gonna have to put that one under review. But we have another caution on the track.
He was airborne. I can confirm that the 14 car went airborne. Yeah, he went airborne.
Brianna says, flip!
Yeah. That's our second flip of the night, too.
We're going to have that at these tracks.
You know, that's what makes these tracks the most viewed when it comes to not just iRacing, but in real life racing as well. You know, people love getting ready to watch some Daytona or Daytona racing. And they always draw the big crowd, and the reason why is because you got it's always fun, you got a bunch of wrecks, and people go flying.
Get a replay dialed up here for you. Everyone gonna go down and get that splash of gas. Looks like
They'll start the pit one more time, you know, because I believe they're about 15, 16 laps per fuel run. So they'll have to come down again regardless, even if it is even if there is no more cautions, no more flips.
yeah, so I mean a little bit of strategy talk there. We're gonna have to stop at least one more time, depending if we have a large amount of cautions that might change. But if things kind of keep going the way they were there the second half of this race, we're gonna have to stop again. But you might not have to stop as long, and you might be able to make up some spots there, just getting that little bit of splash to get you to the end. As of now, you're gonna be about 3 to 5 laps short, depending on caution.
Yeah, we'll see how it shakes out though, because people usually go into these races with strategies, with fuel strategies, and sometimes it just doesn't work that way because of all the cautions coming out at the wrong time. So, yeah, we're going to find out and see if any strategies work out for these guys. Like I said, when you have all these cautions come out on these super speedways, and you want to have that strategy with your teammates, and it kind of just blows in the wind, when you don't really do as many green flag racing. So, yeah, we'll see how this shakes out with this fuel run. I would imagine there'll be another caution, but you never know. Looks like Guerrero is still in the pits, so he may be out of his quick repairs. He's trying to repair whatever damage he just accrued. So
You're starting to see the effects of being caught up in multiple incidences,
Mm-hmm.
taking some of our drivers out of the race. Trying to reset your field here for you. At least your top 10, the 33 of Ball is in the lead. 24 Green is going to be on the front row with you, still riding up front. 85 Kilday third. Corbett in fourth. Levy in fifth. Breland in sixth. Greer in eighth. Potson just jumped up to seventh. Ninth is the 97 of Hurt. Rounding out your top 10 is the 47 of Stevens. So kind of touching back on that head-to-head battle, your leader of the 24 Green in the 10th place of 47 Stevens in that head-to-head battle is definitely our closest head-to-head battle of the night, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to keep an eye there. Of course, our playoff drivers really starting to feel the pressure of this first race coming to a close. So you got Josh Ball up there in the playoff run. Poston up there in the playoff run. Hurts also in the top 10 in the playoff run. So got quite a mix. Everyone's kind of spread out as far as um, you know, chase drivers. So expect some of these chase drivers to start making some big moves coming into the final laps of this race.
Yeah, I mean that's what's going to happen. This is kind of where your playoff drivers, your season drivers, where they separate, and this is where they got to make those big moves if they do want to have a chance to compete and win this championship. Like you said, it's a mix and match. Everybody's racing for their own terms, whether you're head to head in the playoff, you're in the tournament, or you're in the playoffs competing for the top eight. It's just there's a bunch of pressure, and that pressure's not going to stop until the end of the season. So, but here we go. We got 10 laps or 20 laps to go. So we're gonna see who can succumb to the pressure and who can't.
Your front five dive down at the bottom, link it up, try and put some space behind them.
They already jumped up to the front. That single line, it's been working like that for most of these green flag runs. That's not surprising. He kind of jumbles up the guys in the back. They don't have as much speed, so they're kind of trying to fight and get up in that front group again. That separation is not this ain't the first time we've seen the separation, and it won't be the last time. So these guys just need to do what they can, keep stay in their solid lines, don't get swirly, because when you get swirly, you lose time. And this is the time where you got to put up or shut up with less than 20 to go.
You said it, partner. Put up or shut up. Now's the time. Starting to see a little bit of break off out of that single file front group there. The 62 of Levy leading that top line. We've seen the top line be dominant in the first half of the race, but that bottom line's really come on in the second half of this race. And right now, no one's. Is he snoring? Right now, top line just doesn't seem to be getting linked up and put together right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, when we seen that top line work so well, it was Picklesimmer and his teammate up there on the top, and people just followed suit. But ever since they've kind of went back to the back, we've seen the bottom line work out a lot better. It's really just a preference for the guys that are in front. They can kind of choose and call whatever lines they want to, as long as they're keeping that pace to stay in front. So right now we see it going back to too wide. Don't see anything too crazy. Don't see any three wide in the back either right now. Everybody's in that second group, just trying to catch up. We're under 20 laps to go, so I expect these guys to make crazy moves in the last couple laps of this thing, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, who's going to make the right move at the right time? And when is that right time? Is that the 2 laps to go? Is that the last turn? That's what's so fun about these races, especially coming to the end. Who's going to make the move and when? and was it the right move or not? We're about to find out.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to add a plug in. Speaking of right time, ARN will be broadcasting this Wednesday and Thursday for right time. Wednesday we will have ARCA, and Thursday will be the first week of playoffs in Talladega. So make sure to check out ARN Wednesday and Thursday night this week for some right time action.
It's a lot of fun how these leagues are kind of somewhat synchronized, where playoffs are all kind of starting the same. The 500 was all the same week, or Daytona was the start of the season was all the same week. So it's going to be an exciting time on ARN here the next couple weeks.
Yeah, playoffs are always fun. Like you said before, whether it's badminton or it don't matter. When you always see people compete, and there's especially like in this type of playoff format where there's a round of 12 and then a round of 8. There goes a caution. When you see these eliminations each, every 2 weeks, and that playoffs field shrinks, it makes these races much more fun to watch.
Looked like a big one, partner. Fortunately, apologize to our fans. Do not having a little bit of difficulty. Probably won't be able to get you a replay here.
But the show must go on.
The show must go on, he says. Looking back at it here on the side screen, the 97 and the 23 kind of get a bad push there on the second row in that front group. Flex to 15, and then it just stacks up from there.
Yeah, that 97 got squirrely. They were all on a line together. 97 went low on that apron, came back up, and it ended up clipping the 23, and that's when kind of all hell broke loose. And we almost have an airborne. Let's see if because the 97 he did have 3 tires off the ground at one time. Let's see if he is airborne.
The 24 Green being involved in that one. Talk about him and his head-to-head battle. One of Rhodes just squeezes by, stays alive. The 35 gets collected. The 77, 71 of Yates. 4 Corey Rainey, and the 9 car just squeezed by on the inside, going through the grass. So, bit of a shake-up here. And here's, I believe, your last pit stop that we're going to see tonight. Just as Blake was telling us earlier, we had one more stop to go. And here it is.
Yep, they're really going to try to get that last bit of fuel so they can finish out the race without having to worry about it anymore. Don't have to worry about tires. So it's just all about your fuel. And this will be the last fuel pit unless we do have an excessive green-white checkered.
Winning the race off of pit road.
Look who's up there in the top 3, Mr. Holloway himself. No surprise there.
The Candy Man.
Yeah, that's him, man. He's like taking candy from a bunch of babies in the racing league. Because he's been, outside of his misfortunes this past couple weeks in the regular season, before then he was just dominating, and he still has been. You can tell he's a good racer. All the things he got caught up in, it wasn't like it was anything that was his fault, really. It was kind of wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, he is good to see him out there tonight. It's easy to take a week off and park it, if it don't matter as much, but it's good to see him out there and still trying to compete and get some momentum going for the round of 8 when his points actually start mattering.
Okay, wait for the pace lights to go off here, or we'll reset your top 10 here once again.
Coming down to the wire, man. It's gonna be man, because at these tracks, the last 2 laps are so fun. Because just like in real life racing, people get aggressive. You see things going 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide at Daytona I've seen. So but here at Daytona, you're going to see some 3 wide at the last couple laps, and it's going to be such a fun thing to watch, as it always is at ASCRL.
You've seen the 35 and Matt Banky get the waiver round, puts him back on the lead lap. That now gives us 29 cars on our lead lap coming to the end. And for your top 10 coming to this green flag, 40 of Greer first, second, 31 of Poston, third, Holloway, fourth, Breland, fifth, Kilday, sixth is the 97 of Hertz, seventh, Levy, eighth, 33 of Ball, ninth, 343 of Hancock, and then 10th, 11 of Corbett. So we got some playoff drivers still in our top 10 looking to set themselves apart from the rest of the field trying to get to the round of 8.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more shakeups in that top 10 as we keep going in this race. As we've been watching all night and every week at ASCRL, that on these tracks you have a bottom line that works, you have a top line that works. You can have your guy in second place on the top line end up in 10th, in 3 seconds. It's just it's really about just staying in your line, staying clean, don't get squirrely, keep your stay stiff when you're steering. Make sure you don't make it tough for the guy behind you, because if you make it tough for the guy behind you, then you're just going to kill the line. So yeah, it's going to be really fun to see how this shakes out and see where these playoff drivers end up. Here we go. Just over 10 laps to go.
Green flag back out on the track. 40 of Greer leads the bottom line into turn 1. The outside line trying to get it dialed in with Poston leading it. Candyman already makes his way up in the second place, pushing the 40 of Greer out front. Actually goes outside to pick up the momentum of the top line. 31 of Poston gets a huge shove down the back stretch. Gives 21 of Holloway the edge coming into the green.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Binky getting back on the lead lap. He's one of those guys that has been done really well this season. Has been pretty unfortunate these last, couple weeks. I'm surprised he's back in the line where he's at. He's currently sitting at 27th position. He's out of the pack as well. So it's gonna be hard for him to catch up. He's really gonna need a caution to come out. I'm very surprised that I'm very surprised he's back there and not competing, at least for a top 10 spot in this race. I'm sure he's hoping for something to come out to get him back on that lead group.
All right, you see it here, partner. We're going 3 wide for the lead now. Coming up on 10 to go. Or, excuse me, 11 to go. A lot of movement. Some cars that got caught up in that last wreck making their way back through the field, coming up through the middle. I'm not going to say his name. He is making the move. All right, again, 3 wide. Kilday leading the outside contact.
Oh, there it goes.
The 97th
Oh, it's
round.
a big one.
The big one.
Oh, man.
It's a good thing I didn't say his name.
Yeah.
You can kind of feel the tension on that one building. You're 3 wide for the lead there for a moment. And you go 3 wide, 2, 3, 4 rows back. It's just a domino effect from there. Somebody gets wiggly and someone gets pumped. That's
Man, these guys, we've been talking about it all night. When you got the only 2 quick repairs and there's so many these big wrecks, you don't have, at that short track racing, you have a bunch of bumps in the walls, guys spin out, caution comes out. It's just 2 guys But on here, when you're going so dang fast, you're going, almost 200 miles an hour. It's when you have these wrecks, man, it's really impactful on your truck, and it can really take you out of the race. So hopefully, these guys are paying attention to what they got and how much damage they have, so they're able to finish out. Especially these guys that are in the playoffs. This is where you want to have a consistent finish. You don't have to win. You don't even have to finish top 8. In this race, just try to have a consistent top 10, top 15 finish to keep yourself alive for that next week's race to get past that cut line.
Yeah, and that's the good news of only being the first race of the round. Like you said, if things don't quite go your way this week, it's not the end of the world just yet. You got next week to try and make up for it and get yourself back above that cut line. So, we'll go from 12 to 8. So, don't panic just yet. You gotta keep your nose on the grind and practice and come out next week and make a statement.
Yeah, you're not wrong at all. This race is more important for the guys under the cut line than anybody, just because if you do have a bad finish here, if you finish 25th, 26th, you're really going to have to. You really made it hard on yourself at that point, because next week you're going to have to come out there and have a top 5 finish to even try to compete to get to the top 8. So that's why it's very important to have a consistent finish. Be aware, if you see people going 3 wide, if you have to back out, man, back out. Getting wrecked out right here, in lap 90 is a lot worse than you sitting back and, and finishing. I'd rather finish top 12 than bottom 5, just from trying to be aggressive. So these guys just need to drive smart and just get through that pressure and, survive another lap.
Did get confirmation from the tower that it is only one quick repair this evening. So I want to give a shout out to all the pit crews and these drivers. We still got 29 cars still on the track. So, we've had 9 cautions, but we only have 1 car off track, and that was just a network issue. So shout out to these guys putting an interesting, exciting race together for us. Still 29 cars on the track, 28 of them on the lead lap. So, excellent job, boys. Trying to keep them trucks clean, getting that damage fixed, and getting yourself now in the last 8 laps of the race at least.
Yeah, 1 quick repair, man. That makes it even crazier. What we thought of that extra safety net, they don't have. So everything that I've spoke about so far about being safe, do that times 2. Because you only got 1 quick repair, but yeah, that's wild. That's a part of it. That's racing. Man, I'm shocked. I can't believe, like you said, that there's still a bunch of trucks on this racetrack right now.
Seen some lead pack cars go in for pit there, get a top off. Didn't catch if any of them took any tires or anything. It's a little bit of a different strategy coming here toward the end. 31 Apostle stop. He's now dropped back to the 14th position. Don't think he was involved in that last wreck. So a little bit of a different strategy here coming down to the final stretch.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think if I was in their situation during this, I want to get to the front as quick as I can. Maybe I know that's kind of normal with it being under 10 laps to go, but even earlier in the race, after stage 2, my goal is to stay in the very front, because when you watch these cautions and watch these wrecks, that's the front row are the ones that are likely never involved with them. It's a lot easier to stay clean when you have nobody in front of you. When you're in the middle, you have 15 cars in front of you, 20 behind you. It makes it a lot tougher to stay clean through the duration of this race. But at this point now, I can see a lot of people trying to be aggressive and pushing up to that front with with us only having about 6 laps to go after the restart.
Reset your top 10 here. Your new leader, the 85 of Kill Day, in second, 40 of Greer, third, 33 of Ball, fourth, 62 of Levy, and fifth, 343 of Hancock. And 6th is the 23 of Breland. 7th is the 17 of Gibson. 8 is the 15th of Horse. 9th, number 3 car in Hess. And then 10th, the 8th car of the 8 car of Alessi. A name we haven't really called much out yet tonight. He's had a quiet night. Now finds himself in the top 10.
Yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. It's always good to have your name shouted out, you know, on the booth, as long as it ain't involved with the accident. So yeah, with him getting in the top 10, that's huge for him. We haven't said his name out, you know, much tonight at all, but yeah, he's definitely a good driver. He's been a good driver all season. Had some up and downs, but yeah, he's definitely good. I know he'll make a better push next season. He hasn't. I think he's raced every race this season. He has 10 starts. Didn't have the best luck, but I'm sure after this season goes by, he's going to do a lot better. It seems to be. So look for him next season after this playoff run to make a run for next year's playoffs.
Yeah, one thing that is cool as a driver in this league is to hear your name or see your car on the broadcast. So shout out broadcasters around the world that make this happen, especially T-Bone having us in the booth with them. There is nothing cooler. Well, I guess winning the race would be pretty cool. There's not too many things cooler than getting shout out on the broadcast. So shout out to 8. Let's get himself in the top 10 on that restart. But we are back to green. You can see 3 wide big time. You got 2 cars leading out front, then 2x2, then 3x3 right behind them. A lot of wiggling. We come back across the start finish line. Now 6 to go.
Oh, and there's another caution coming out. There is another one. Let's see if I can see who it was real quick. There's multiple guys under that apron right now, spread out. Try to go back to the source of it. Sorry, guys, we don't have a good replay right now, but we will work on getting that back up shortly. Yeah, it looks like the guy on that on the top line got a little squirrely in it, and it scared the guys behind them. Let me try to get a better view of this so I can give you a better.
Yeah, to me it looks like the 62 just caught a little bit of weird wind there.
Yeah.
Got a little loose. Kind of stacked everything up in the 9 of Taylor. Kind of come down expecting big checkup or maybe even a car getting turned there. Kind of come down, made contact with another car.
That's all it takes is a checkup, you know, and you're full throttle on the front stretch, and you got a guy checking up in front of you or in front of the guy in front of you. You know, it's hard to react quick enough, and sometimes you can't react quick enough, especially when you're a moving train, and especially when you're right on these guys' back bumpers. You can't really see much in front of you. So if you have a dude sideways, you know, 2 cars ahead of you, there's a chance you might not see it because you're right in the guy's back bumper. And you don't see it till it's too late. And yeah, it looks like Corey Rain was able to escape that one. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have us another. Looks like we'll be coming to a green-white checker possibly. Because we're on lap 96 now.
It's definitely going to be a shootout. Some chase drivers involved in that one. The 35 at Banky, 21 of Holloway gets collected in there a little bit. And then the 24 Green involved in that one. Not a chase driver, but a redemption bracket driver. And we've seen him leading quite a bit of this second half of the race. So that just shows you once again how, you know, Blake was just preaching earlier. Just you got to get up front, avoid the trouble, because if not, you see it here when he's out front. He did just fine, no trouble. You get back in the back, trouble seems to find you.
Yeah, that's how it works. You got to push to that front. Obviously, it's apparent that you got to push for the front at this moment because you're at the end of the race. But I wouldn't worry about it in the first half of the race. You know, just have a clean car. That's when you want to be the cleanest. Just relax and drive. Don't get too worried about your position once that second stage begins. When you're about halfway through that second stage, lap 70 to 75, that's when you want to start being more aggressive and trying to make your mark, not too aggressively, but just trying to passively, get past some drivers. Because when it comes down to the end, like it is now, when people are getting aggressive, if you're in the front, you don't have to worry about it so much because all that, like we've seen the 62 of Levi, um, he got squirrely and it kind of caused guys behind him to freak out a little bit, check up. Um, and if you put yourself in these in the front row, then you're kind of clear of all the nonsense. At least you have more of a chance to be clear of it because you don't have anybody in front of you. So yeah, that's why it's very important to strategy is very important. Um, I know it's a speedway and everybody just like draft and just just raise hell, praise Dale, just go crazy. But it's man, strategy really matters on these tracks too, and it's showing.
All right, Chad, we're gonna have what looks like could very possibly be a green-white checker. Let us know. You've got the leaderboard up on the screen. Let us know who your pick is for this shootout. I know we did drivers earlier, but give me a driver for this shootout here. You're looking at the top 10 here and the top 20. Who do you got?
Yeah, it's a whole new race now from what it
Yeah.
was earlier. You got a new top 10. You got it's just you got different emotions going on right now. You have people that don't have the emotions going for them well. Guys in the back that are that haven't had a good race so far. But man, these guys up front, I predict it's going to be a great shootout. I don't have one that I would necessarily say that I think's going to win. But if I had to choose one, I'm going with the 33 of Josh Ball.
Tough one. I'm gonna go with the 40 of Greer. He was out front earlier. He showed that he can stay up front and avoid the trouble so far in the second half of this race. So he's gonna restart in the 5th position. So we'll see who's got what here. This restart again, the 85 of Kilday in your 1 position. Ball in the 2nd position. 3rd, Breland. 4th is Hancock. 5th is Levy's. 6th, Greer. 7th, Gibson. 8th, Rainey. 9th, Picklesimmer back in the top 10. And the 10th position, 31 of Boston back in the top 10 as well.
Yeah, we haven't talked about Picklesimmer in a little while since him and his teammate was, leading some laps after they kind of got broken up and dropped to the back. We haven't really said their name that much. Picklesimmer, he's been a great driver all season. He's proved it week in, week out. I'd like to see him make a push. Like I said, he's been really good at these tracks, and yeah, he's just one of those that can surprise you, make a real run for the championship.
Knees weak, arms heavy. A lot of pressure coming into this green-white checker
here. Did you mean to rhyme? Here we go. Green flag. Big push on the outside. He's going low. He's leaving them hanging on top. Yeah, there's some separation on that bottom line right now. The top 4 in that top line are pretty close, and that's going to be the reason why they make it past that bottom line, unless these guys creep up. Very tight on top with 5 drivers.
And that just shows you, contact there. Everyone saves it. 4 and a 33 and the 85 all make contact, get loose, keep momentum and the car straight. That gives the 23 and the 40 of Breland and Greer plenty of space out front. But you've seen it, just how how dominant the bottom line has actually been now that the sun is set in the second half of this race. But if you can get 5-6 cars linked up on that top line, you can just see how much momentum they can build. 3 wide for the lead.
Oh Lord, there's some bumps on the top line. Corey Rainey. Oh, there go. Oh, he's under that apron. It looks like he's got all 4 tires under that. Is that going to result in a black flag, you think?
I'm not sure. I'm going to assume not because he was trying to avoid the contact. I'm not sure he made a pass either. So I believe you're allowed to go below the yellow unless you make a pass. Here we come to the final stretch of the 4. Corey Rainey all by himself on the bottom line.
Oh, no.
Tries
Oh,
a side
airborne.
draft. Tries a side draft, makes contact.
Oh, my God.
St. Clair Airborne twice, I believe. That will be your finish. The 33, a ball, gets the win.
That was wild. About to go look at that again, man. Oh, that sucks for the number 4 car. He was still able to get a good finish though, so it wasn't too bad.
For Corey
Randy,
Rainey.
Randy was able to get a top 5 finish. Ball came in first. Hey, my pick came in first, man.
Rainey had a heck of a run down to the inside all by himself.
He really did. And that was a gnarly flip. We're like that same car flipped twice, maybe 3 times. I'm sure Brianna is very proud.
After he makes that, gets door to door with your leader. Let's see who that is. The leader of 88 at Pickle Simmer got door to door with him. Pickle Simmer had a 33, a ball on his bumper. But since Rainey was by himself, started losing momentum, tried to side draft. Ends up making contact, it looks. Just
Man,
gets
what a
sucked in.
wild finish.
Looks like he tries to side draft to 88, but the 33 was just running a little bit lower, and I don't think the 4 seen him. Ended up spinning out there, but like you said, luckily enough for the 4, Corey Rainey still gets a 4th place finish as he crosses through the finish line through the grass.
Yeah, that was very, very fun to watch, to say the least. Wow. Yeah, no, that's one of these big tracks are so fun to watch because things like that always happen on the last lap. You don't see this happen a bunch at Dover. Sometimes you can at Martinsville. It gets crazy, but like all these other big tracks, you just don't see it happen as much. But when you go to Talladega and Daytona, you're gonna see some fun wrecks. Luckily no one's getting hurt in these because we are in sim cars, not in real life. But that's just what brings the fun to it, man. It just adds extra excitement. Just as you can see, Brandon, our chat, week in week out, looking for flips and airborne vehicles.
Yeah, shout out BM there, always supporting us on Mondays and supporting ARN. Appreciate you. We do have 18 viewers right now, so I want to thank everyone for hanging out with us tonight, sticking through to the end. That exciting finish. Um, man, SCLRL strikes
Yeah,
again.
yeah, it's always exciting. We're still going to try and get some driver interviews for the top 3. So I'm sure we will get them in here shortly. But yeah, man, what a race! 33. He's been competing all season long. He hasn't been here all season long for one. He's been here for about half the season, it seems like. But every race he's been in, man, he's really pushed it hard and done really well. So I'm not surprised that he was able to get the win
What is
tonight.
going on?
He's alive.
He's alive.
My mouse is broken.
Looks like Tyler had to. It seems like Tyler had to take a break, but he's back.
Your mouse might have shut off. You might have to shut it off, turn it back on.
Uh,
And there you have it, our
Finally.
weekly demo derby.
race from Josh Ball, man.
You know, it's ever since we started doing Mondays. You know, he's always up front at some point of the race. He may not finish every race up there, but you see the 33 up front at some point. But just this time, thankfully enough for him, able to finish it in the right up front.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at his qualifying, it speaks for itself how quick he is on these tracks. And that's without a draft. You know, I don't think I've been in the booth and him not qualify top two. So not surprising that he puts himself in position to win, just like he did tonight, because he's just a damn good driver, and I don't expect anything less from him.
Giving drivers some time here. Get out of their cars. We can bring them into the booth for their post-race interview. Please
Yeah,
hang
they
out
probably
just a few more minutes.
yeah they probably need a little break after that. You know, clutching that wheel for 2 hours and just I know it's a lot of stress. They need to get up, go use the restroom, get a drink, relax, maybe get a beer or a shot or three.
You know,
Yeah, I know how
honestly,
that.
I was about to say
Go ahead, Tyler.
tough fought battle for the top 5. To be honest, I mean, decent amount of wrecks, kind of almost totaled everybody out. It was pretty tough to see our top 5 honestly finish up there. Breland had some difficulty with racing. Early on with the amount of wrecks that we've had back to back. Hurt. Not really. I guess a guy that we've seen really walk away within the top 5. But, able to kind of do it tonight. I mean, it's going to change. Obviously, the outlook going into next week for those top 5 drivers. I mean, Hurt and Ball specifically for sure, as guys that really have not had their number called early on into the regular season, now kind of walking away comfortable in the first week of the round of 12.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see these points get updated and then see where we're looking at under this cut line. Like I said, very fun race. It's going to be a huge shakeup each week until we get to that Final Four and to the championship. But this is we're just expect this every race. It's going to be fun. There's going to be highs for each driver. There's going to be lows, and we're really going to see these drivers get put to the test and see what they're made of.
Now, of course, as of right now, results are going to be pending due to race review. I mean, looking right now, playoffs on the screen for you. Top 8 looking a little scarce here right now. Within the top 10 finish, of course, Poston was up there. Look outside of the cut line right now, so a good move for him. Kilday not within the top 13 on the playoff bracket. Gibson, of course, on there as well. Yeah, so a few drivers not inside the top 13 for the playoffs. Getting a good run. Some of them still making their debut here for the first round of the playoffs inside of the top 10 for just a slight few. So, I mean, still going to be a pretty crazy fight now moving forward into next week, of course. Drivers here tonight, top 3 should be ready for the interview by now. So, see what is going on. All right, of course, Of course, starting in third place is going to be the 23 Gary Breland, then Hurt, and then Josh Ball. Drivers seem to be ready to go, so we are going to start these driver interviews. Ready to go? Oh, there he is. All right, we're going to start off with the 23 of Gary Breland.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. Pretty worn out after that one.
I mean, I can imagine. Pretty tough here, of course. These races don't really seem to be forgiving to some of you guys, and I don't think that trend is kind of going to change now that we're starting the playoffs.
No, absolutely not. It's going to ramp up, if anything.
Of course, starting 19th, pretty far ways away from where you were able to finish. Got him into the top three, held it for a decent amount of time. Fortunately, able to finish within that third spot. How, did you feel like the racing was here for 100 laps?
It was a long one. We had gotten a few cautions in there, and some of the admin team came over and said, "Hey guys, we're halfway to stage, so we need to chill it out a bit." And stage finally got there, and I felt like the strategy was on. I didn't have any teammates here tonight, so I just kind of wanted to be up with the front pack with Holloway and those guys, and kind of just pit with them and stick to their strategy. It seems to work out every week. So, can't be wrong following those guys. So, but yeah, long race.
Yeah, that restart, you found yourself that green white checker restart. You found yourself in fourth position, even got yourself out front. What were you thinking when you seen green pastures ahead of you at that point?
I've raced with this league for 2 seasons now, and the old NASCAR mantra is if you're leading on the white flag lap, you're probably not going to win it. And as soon as I saw, I don't even remember who it was, the 85 picked the high line, we were in good shape, and Chase was behind me, and we kind of had a plan there, and the 85 went down as soon as he was clear, and which I thought was kind of weird. The top line had been rolling all night long, and so I said, okay, go for it. And Chase has pushed me to a win before, so that was going to be the goal. Just kind of try to block any high line, third line coming, and try to get it done. Obviously, it didn't work out that way, but like Tyler said, we were still able to finish and come out with a P2. So can't be mad about that.
Hey man, congrats. It's always nice getting a podium spot. You had a great race, as always. I know you wish you had had a better finish to the end of the regular season so you compete in the playoffs, but hey, you're at least you're in the
Definitely.
surviving advanced tournament. Whether you in the playoffs or not, you can still use this as momentum going forward, even to next season. But
Absolutely.
my question is, with such a long race, as pushing 2 hours or a little over 2 hours, what did you do? Like, how did you keep your just keep your mind on the race? I know, like with these long races, it's very tough to stay focused. Whether there's a bunch of cautions and a bunch of pacing, or whatever. What was your like? How did you stay so focused this whole race?
My mindset coming into these things is just save as much fuel as you can. There's really no point of being in a hurry. Stage points matter. I understand that, but there's no point in being in a hurry until lap 85, 90 in these things. So
Mhm.
getting to that point is obviously key. And being on that strategy where you're going to have fuel at the end if there's another green white checker that comes out. So that's the big key takeaway for me. Just making sure we're there at the end. That's that's the other big thing. You can't win it if you're not there. So
Mhm.
Still a long road ahead here before we actually finish the entirety of season one in the playoffs. Now, of course, back and forth when it comes to the super speedways, but we'll be kind of mixing up when it comes down to the manufacturers and or excuse me, the cars we're running on a weekly basis. We've about touched everything so far. Now looking to the last little home stretch here now. What do you feel like? What car do you feel like is really going to be the best for you, where we possibly might be able to see you get a win, after finishing here tonight with that top three finish?
Yeah, I think a lot of the season I've missed a few races, but a lot of the season I've tried to rush and get to the front and not been as patient as I probably should have been. That's been a detriment, obviously. So that's going to be the big thing for this best of the rest is just trying to stay patient and be there at the end. As far as car goes, I'm really looking forward to the Gen 6 at Dega. I am pretty confident in that car, so we'll try to put another one together and maybe one spot better. So
Yeah, man. Congratulations on a podium finish. Carry that momentum in the next week.
absolutely, absolutely.
Now, of course, man. Before we let you go, of course, big night. You have any shout outs you'd like to give to anybody?
Yeah, I mean, the league as a whole, you guys for broadcasting. I think the Edmond team has had a hell of a fight on their hands. Doubling the field size, maybe more than double actually, and they've done their best. So it's been really cool to see. And we got the Harbor Freight on the truck tonight, so got to shout those guys out.
Mhm.
Well, of course, man. Congrats on the top three. It was a long road to get to this point, but well deserved for you here tonight. And of course, look forward to seeing how this bracket's going to work out for you. I mean, you're seated pretty comfortably right now in 16th overall. Looking to see who you're going to be fighting in just a few races. But all in all, looks to be a pretty good start for you here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it, boys.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Congratulations.
You have a good one.
You too. Thanks.
Of course, that was your 23 of Gary Braylon. Seems 33 of Josh Ball might not be available for his interview. We're going to have to figure that out. Right now, someone that is available for their interview is going to be the 97, Tyler Hurt. Hurt should be joining us now. You got a copy, boss?
Yes.
So kind of the same situation as Breland. You started in 13th. You maneuvered a lot of the way through the field, trying to stay away from wrecks, trying to stay, with majority of that damage off of the truck, and finishing up here in second after a crazy 100+ laps. How are you feeling now that the race is over?
A bit relieved to finally be on a podium after finishing fourth about 3 times. But overall just kind of tired because that last run I went from 16 to second.
Yeah, that was going to be my question for you. So before that green white checker, you restarted in 16th position. How were you able to get yourself towards the front to have the opportunity to get this podium?
Part of it was the little wobble halfway down the backstretch, but most of it was I just took the middle and just went with it. Just the single-minded goal of get to the front because I didn't get stage points. We're all points reset, and it's 2 weeks to the next round. So just get as many points as possible and see where it ends up.
Yeah, man. Congrats on getting a podium spot, especially first week of the playoffs. You had a great race. I'm asking you the same question I asked Breland, man. It's with these long 2-hour races. What did you do, and specifically to keep your composure to have a good finish?
Uh, I mean, personally, I have music in my ear the whole time, but um, we uh, we sit there. I mean, typically we're sit there chatting, we're pit strategy, but most of the
Mhm.
race is just spent sitting back. I mean, I tend to hold a steady position in a race, unless this one where he gets spun 3 times. It was just understanding that the truck's a lot more durable than some of the other cars, like say the Gen 4 or the Xfinity. So it's just something where it's like a wreck doesn't mean you're out, and even like
Mhm.
55 seconds doesn't mean you're out. So a lot of it's just that reinsurance of, and this is a car that I'm probably the most comfortable with. It's
I
just the
gotta know.
reassurance of that is there. Mm.
I gotta know what music we're listening to. Is it the same song over and over, or what are we listening to?
Uh, this time I think it was, what was it? Close my Spotify. I don't have it open right now. I think this time it was like a rock playlist. I'm
Ooh,
pretty sure.
there you go.
I
Well,
kind of I rotate it. I'm a music person, so it
just,
changes.
I would do rock every time now.
Oh yeah, that's exactly. I do 80s rock, 70s, 80s rock, and that'd just be my playlist for racing.
I mean, kind of looking towards stage one, man. I feel like the first like three, four cautions, they were all within 4 laps of each other. Breland said, Edwin's kind of coming over radio and telling everybody to slow their roll down a little bit and, get through the first half of the race first. Do you feel like those, first three or four cautions early on kind of changed the tides for the second half of the race, or do you feel like they were pretty far off to not really have a difference on outcome?
I think if it wasn't, say, like this car or the next gen, it would have. But honestly, with how durable these are, and the idea of it's a points reset for all the playoff drivers, which is 13 drivers, and then it's the tournament round for everyone else, or the remaining like 20 something. So I mean, it's a lot just on the line for a very first race. So I think that's what led to a lot of the early stuff, and just the way the draft packages where you're gonna want to be on the outside or you're gonna want to be in the middle, and that just led to everyone trying to shift around. And these cars aren't agile. I think it does play a role in the end of the race because of how many cars are beat up, but in the end, I don't see it. I mean, we still had what 20 cars or something like that on that last restart.
I think he had 29 out of 30 on that last restart.
Yeah.
It
I mean, I
gave you
know.
all a shout out there to be able to do that. That was awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, it was a great race. It's a good start of the playoffs for you. I don't have any more questions for you. Maybe Tyler and the other guy and Mickey does, Grandpa Mickey. But yeah, they just congrats again on a top three finish. It's a great time to get a podium. Week one of playoffs, and looking forward to the rest of this playoff run.
Thanks.
You know, looking where we're at here, we have the tournament going on, we have the regular playoffs going on. There was a pretty big tie from fifth back to 13th, all at 1,000 even, just sitting below the cut line in ninth. Of course, everybody with that tie. Of course, you're the first one to get into that position based off regular season. How does this top three really take into effect the first week for you when it comes down to the points?
I think it gives me a good cushion going into next week because what next week is Gen 4, I believe.
I think it's
No, it's
Xfinity.
Xfinity. Yeah. Okay, so it gives me a bit of a cushion, and I'm hoping. Reportedly, we have a setup in the works for the Xfinity, so it's not as bad as the last time. Um, but with that, I mean, truck is probably the most comfortable one I'm in out of the 6 that we run, and so or 5 that we run. And so it helps. like knowing that that's the cushion I have now, especially with the first round, with it only being this race and the next race for round of 12. So I mean, it's like I don't I can focus on getting my teammates more higher up next week versus myself, especially with the only one race. I mean, I'd have to see how the points are officially laid out, but there's a better chance that I get to focus on my teammates.
Of course,
Yeah, I
man.
just want to give you congratulations on second place and awesome start to the playoffs here. Go get them next week as well.
Thanks.
Now, of course, before we let you go, as always, we ask everybody, you have any shout outs you'd like to give to anyone?
Yeah, shout out to you three, first of all, and Dalton, and then I guess, well, then the team, which also includes Dalton, Holloway, Todd, Russ. I mean, we've been running all season. I'm about the only one who hasn't been in here, all season. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun. I've had good runs. It's just the finishes, which I wish could be better. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm in the playoffs. We're here now, so yeah.
Well, of course, man, never late is better, but better late than never. So, congrats now on the top 3 finish here, securing that second place spot after a really good race to start the round of 12 in the trucks. On to next week, where hopefully we're talking to you again.
Yep. Hope to see you next week.
Yes, sir, man. Once again, congratulations, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
You do.
See you, man. Congrats.
Yeah.
Of course, that was our second place finisher of Tyler Hurt. Like you said, practically the last one on the team to get that interview. He's been waiting practically all season to do so. Now has that opportunity, and has his sights set onto next week, where points are going to be a little bit tougher now to have to manage with a few that had pretty bad nights tonight. Of course, right now looking towards the last person interviewed tonight. That is going to be our race winner, the number 33 of Josh Ball.
I'm here so I don't get fined.
I mean, you'd have been all right.
Okay, we got to stop meeting under these circumstances. I got to get up at 4:30. I get the last interview. Now I'm like dreading sleep. Ugh.
I guess when we see you in victory or the top 3, we're just going to start with you first, go like a staggered order, so you can get some rest before going to work.
I'm just gonna stay in this position. We're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. I'm gonna back off and finish 4th. Nope.
Didn't work for you this week, man. Now, I mean, you did pretty good. I wouldn't have backed off if I was you anyway. You qualified as second, started up in the front, kind of fell to the back at one point in time, notably in about 29th to 30th. Had to really rework all the way back to the front, just avoiding rack after rack, and sometimes it's proven harder than it is to keep the damage off of the truck and really gain position. How do you feel like you did here tonight with a 30 car field?
Pretty bad. I mean, I wrecked the first truck 3 times. And the third time it said I had 12 minutes of damage, and I said, well, that's probably enough. This truck's it's had enough for tonight. So I had a fast repair before the stage. I'm like, this is just not going to end well. So I was thinking, maybe I can go to bed early, but no, of course not. So, so somehow miraculously, with like 5 to go in the stage, we were in like 23rd, but somehow we finished 4th there. And then, yeah, I planned to ride in the back, and I don't remember what happened. There was some big checkup or almost caution or whatever. And we got some green flag laps in and green flag pit stops. So that was good. But then cautions breed caution. So towards the end there, we worked our way to the front. We got a couple of good restarts with some teammates, and then got shuffled a little bit, just wrong lane, and then you know, seas parted. I said, "Damn it!" and across the finish line first. Now I'm here.
I'm too busy laughing. I couldn't come up with a question. Um, so like you said there, the seas just kind of parted. But before that happened, were you, in all seriousness, were you content of just pushing the 88 at Pickle Simmer to the win there if you guys could stay linked up? Did you have a move in mind?
No, so when I think in turn 3 and 4, the guy in front of me dropped down to go below whoever was there. I saw the 88, and I know we had been working pretty good together recently in a couple of last weeks, and I was like, nope, I'm just going to push him. I'm going to get second or third. That's all I really wanted with the stage 4 points or P4 in the stage, and I was just going to push him to the win, and then all of a sudden he was gone.
Hey man, congrats on getting a win tonight. I'm not surprised. I usually root for you every race. You can ask the guys in the booth because
Thanks,
I
buddy.
also run the number 33. So I'm like, you know
Oh
what?
yeah.
Let's go to 33. Only question I have is gonna be short and quick. Just what do you do to keep your composure, man, in these long races? I know, like you said, you get up super early, for work, and I'm sure that these long races can be mentally draining. But what do you do to keep your composure each week in these races?
Really, that's basically comes down to your teammates who you have around you. I mean, I got
Mhm.
a bunch of guys that I race with, Vince and Dan, both Adams, Dwayne, and I think that's it, right? Yep. If I left somebody out, I'm sorry, but yeah, I mean, if we're not in there chatting with each other, just BSing or trying to help each other out, or just it kind of it's kind of funny because you'll have Vince saying, no pasta or whatever. Our teams know no presta, but he always calls it no pasta for some reason. He's got like damage for no reason, and he's going to the bathroom during the caution, and then he's like, "Oh, where's the pace car?" And it's already on, right on him. He's like, "Oh no!" And I didn't even go to the bathroom. Like, where were you doing? Like, you got it from your sim. What were you even doing? It's just just funny, kind of just having fun with those guys in the room, and it's more about that. Finishing, winning's nice, but it's more about just kind of racing with your friends, and you're trying to race up front. Obviously, that's where everybody wants to be, and it's easier to be in the front, to be honest.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I wish the races were maybe like 20 laps shorter, but hey,
Just a week ago, really thought you were going to be on the outside looking in, come to the playoffs. Team really honed in, push you to the lead as much as possible, trying to get you to that 12th driver spot. Thankfully, the appeal worked, and
that's right.
and now you're here. You know, how does it feel? Kind of almost being shut out of a top 12 spot after having a tie, making it technically the round of 13, and now you've proved why you should have done it with a win here. Of course, finish under review, but
Right.
based off of what we've seen so far, seems like you're probably going to squeak away with the win, as it wasn't caused on your behalf.
Yeah, I mean, I just, thank everybody here anyway, and, the entire league, ASCRL, just for having us, having me. And, I told Dalton when I joined, I found him on YouTube. I know you guys stream on Twitch, but I found it on YouTube. And I was like, when I first messaged him, like, hey, if I join, and I could still make the playoffs, right? Obviously there was some back and forth, and he's like, "You're not going to make playoffs," and I was like, "No, no, no, I can make playoffs. I bet you I can." So, that was the whole goal from the beginning, was just trusting in myself to make it into the playoffs, and then when it became here or there, if they didn't let me in, that was fine too. I mean, you know, if they have rules, they have rules. What it was, it is what it is. But they've my teammates looked and I looked and we didn't see any, and So we were tied. So they decided just to let us both in, which worked out. And yeah, I guess now we're in the round of 8. So we'll see what we can do. No promises, but hey, either way, it's been fun. We're excited for a full season next season, and yeah.
Now I'm gonna help you keep it short and sweet and let you get to work in the morning. Just congratulations on the win. It's been fun um, rooting for you and having Blake root for you the last couple weeks. Now see you finally uh, for us to, or at least for me to see you win a race and get to talk to you in the booth. It's really cool, man. So just congratulations and good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, it was good to talk to you all this week, and yeah, hopefully, maybe I'll have off a Tuesday, so it doesn't matter next time.
Might want to put the request in now that you know you're in the round of 8. Of course, man, before we let you go, as it is getting late for us here, we're going to ask you if you have any shout outs you'd like to give now, and then we'll let you be on your way.
Yeah, pretty much same thing. Just everybody here, ASCRL, and you guys obviously putting on the broadcast. I try to watch it each week when I can, and you guys do a great job. So I appreciate you guys doing that for us, and obviously all the teammates there, Killday, Half, Vince, the other Adam and Dwayne, just being there and enjoying it. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Of course, man. Congrats on the unofficial, I'll say officially unofficial win right now. I mean, what I've seen from the replay so far, it was an incident around you, but it wasn't you, so you shouldn't have that win stripped. Of course, we will be paying attention throughout the week to see what it lies, and of course, if anything is overturned, we will have the update here for you guys on stream next Monday. But congrats to you on your win here tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, man.
Congrats.
Of course, that was your winner at this point in time, the 33 of Josh Ball. I mean, looking at the checkered flag lap in full run here, I don't really think, it could be a little too egregious on him. He wasn't the one that kind of made contact with the 4, yeah, but I mean, they were all bumper to bumper there. You got the 97 kind of running up behind him, trying to make that last ditch lap effort there, and it's really what racing's about. Now, what will happen, of course, as they will review it, might not be official here tonight, but we'll have the update come Monday in pre-race if there are any further developments on if the 33 will have that win. Of course, kind of in the same situation that we've seen Banky in before. Might now have himself in the same situation where you might see a win pulled due to contact on that last lap. Now, I don't know. Of course, everybody operates differently. All leagues operate differently. I don't know how they're going to look at that last wreck there coming to the checker. It's going to be a tough call, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be tough. It adds a little bit of controversy. I always like that as a fan. So kind of makes it interesting. But man, it's just some good hard racing at the end. Some side drafting. I think it just happened. But like you said, it'll go under review, and we'll let everybody know next week.
Yeah, it's like I said, the controversy that always makes racing a little more fun at the end. Obviously you don't want it for the drivers, that get their win stripped. But I mean, at the end of the day, the admins at ASCRL, they're always going to make the right decision. So they're not going to jip nobody or do make any wrong decision. They do a good job of getting together and always putting everything to the side and making the correct decision. So I'm sure they'll do it again.
Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, as always, live coverage has officially concluded here tonight for the American Stock Car Racing League. 100 laps. You see Josh Ball unofficially take the win right now as it all hangs in the balance. Of course, Tyler Hurt getting second place. Breland in third. Corey Rainey in fourth after not getting the Danhausen curse from Sharrow. Chase Greer rounding out your top five. Just outside is going to be Gibson in sixth, Kildane seventh, Boston in eighth, Pickle Simmer in ninth, and Alessi rounding out your top 10. Now on to next week, where we get a new playoff bracket and a new grid. Of course, Xfinity cars at Talladega next Monday to conclude the round of 13. As you saw, Ball make it in with Taylor as well. After that race, we are on to the round of 8, Gen 4 and Gen 6. Then the final four at the next gen, where Holloway gets to choose the track. That's going to be a good one. Of course, as always.
Yeah, we got.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I
go
was say
ahead.
we got a bunch of nice racing to go. So just make sure to stay tuned every week because we're always going to put on a show for you guys and do the best for you, commentating, and it's always good to see you guys out here.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
Give or take a few problems on my end on a weekly basis. So there's not one race a week where I can get away with just not having something fall apart. So we're still looking for the lucky one. Hopefully, it'll be the championship race.
Well, it's you do 5 out of 7 days a week, so the odds aren't in your favor.
Never are. But hey, look, we enjoy what we do, of course. American Star Car Racing League, the new kids on the block here for the Asphalt Racing Network. And on behalf of them and us, we would like to thank you guys for tuning in live for another good race coverage here. Be sure to check us out next Monday. If not, and you're looking for something else, like Mickey said, 5 days a week, right? Time ARCA Series on Wednesday, Trucks on Thursday, NARS Truck Series on Friday, the Gen 6 Car Farewell Tour on Saturday. We got enough for you guys to be able to watch. So if you're looking for something specific, we got it for you. Of course, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a great one up in the booth. Of course, thank you to Blake and Mickey once again jumping up here and helping me, what I call my commentators in training. You might see them full-time next season. You might not. We don't know yet what lies in store for them. But of course, thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, we're going to leave you on the white flag lap where you saw Josh Ball take it away.
Good night, everybody.
Deuces.